Tossing and turning late at night? Instead, watch this incredibly satisfying wilderness construction video. It's the perfect remedy for those struggling with insomnia. We guarantee you'll drift off into a peaceful slumber after watching. We won't play the left foot or right foot game today. As always, if you've stumbled upon this video, just leave a comment saying here, or tell us your current phone battery percentage on the right. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right into tonight's bedtime story. Tyrone, after taking a 6-month break, recently decided to revisit his passion for wilderness construction. Not far into his walk, he discovered a perfect spot for a new home. He set down his pack in the clearing and began clearing away the hanging vines. These slender vines could easily be hiding moving sources of protein, critters. Better safe than sorry, so it's essential to clear out these tangled vines. The cleared site also gets plenty of sunlight. Uneven rocks need to be chiseled and leveled. All the protruding stones must be chipped away. To expand the living space further, this section of the hillside also needs some work. Once a clean, open area was prepared, Tyrone gathered stones from the west. These stones are one of the primary building materials. The second material is this sticky, clay-like soil. Just add a certain amount of mountain spring water, and you're probably familiar with this kneading technique. After all the building materials were prepared, he watered the perimeter of the foundation. This helps the concrete mixture bond more effectively with the ground. The base layer uses flatter stones for stability. This prevents the walls from leaning and reduces the risk of collapse. During the building process, he predefined the area for the fireplace. It's much easier than adding a fireplace after the main structure is up. When the walls reached a certain height, he also left an opening for a window. The natural light will prevent the interior from being too dark later on. Tyrone learned wilderness shelter building skills as a child. After working in the noisy, bustling city for over 10 years, he finally realized that life outdoors feels more secure. The city always carried the risk of sudden layoffs. Compared to that, a solitary life in the wild offers much more peace. Back to the build. Once the walls were high enough, he worked on extending the fireplace chimney. This helps the smoke draft properly. Later, Tyrone ventured into the forest behind the hill to collect straight, sturdy logs. These will be used for the roof's frame. He hauled all the collected logs back to the camp. First, he needed to strip the bark from the logs. This prevents damage from small, gnawing animals. He used a log to measure the exact dimensions of the shelter. Then he cut the logs to the required size. To ensure the wooden frame fits together perfectly, he carved mortise joints into the ends of the logs. Using this mortise and tenon joining method makes the frame extremely sturdy. The gable ends were assembled like this. A dowel was hammered into the joint to prevent loosening. Since the frame was built over a gap, after assembly, the empty space needed to be filled with soil. This adds to the roof's stability. Logs were then placed across the frame. Even though this roof design seems simple, with the incredibly strong base frame supporting it, there's no need to worry about its safety. He also left a specific hole in the roof for the chimney. Who wouldn't want to live in this cozy 15 square meter cliffside cabin? A layer of waterproof tarp was added to the roof to prevent rain from leaking inside. He meticulously reinforced the roof a second time. This also keeps the tarp from being blown away by strong winds. But Tyrone wasn't completely satisfied yet. He collected some uniformly colored moss. That's right, it's for the roof. Once it takes root in the soil beneath, the lush green grass on the roof will look beautiful. The finished shelter won't look too plain. A craftsman must sharpen his tools first. A sharp shadow battle axe hatchet appears. Its sharp blade saves a tremendous amount of carving time. Shaving some fine wood curls from a piece of timber allows him to start a fire using a ferro rod. This helps dry out the fireplace's interior, while also dispersing moisture from inside the shelter. The strong flames can also heat a pot of water. Tyrone didn't plan on building a wooden bed. Instead, he used stones to mark out a single bed area. After building it up to a certain height, he laid a base layer of stones. Then, he covered it with a layer of soft soil. This makes sleeping on it much more comfortable, preventing backaches. He collected flat stone slabs from the stream. After gathering enough pieces, he first spread a layer of concrete mix on the surface. Then he placed the slabs onto the sticky concrete. This keeps the slabs from shifting. The remaining concrete was used for the floor, creating a solid foundation for the shelter. This helps block ground moisture. He also renovated the doorway, pre-installing a base for the door's pivot hinge on one side. The finished floor has a unique aesthetic. After measuring the door's dimensions, he carved a mortise into a log. A wooden dowel was inserted, allowing the log to lock into the frame. He also carved a wooden handle from an axe to make opening and closing the door easier. He carved a pivot hole at the top.
This allows the door's pivot to fit snugly into the mortise, enabling the door to swing freely. Tyrone could finally enjoy a hot drink to ease the fatigue from 2 weeks of building. To celebrate acquiring another property in the wild, Tyrone treated himself to braised lamb chops. He added scallions, ginger, Thai chilies.
Lamb chops onto grill. It only takes about 42 flips. A humorous take on a while. The sizzling, juicy lamb chops look incredibly tempting. An explosive, meaty aroma wafts from the fireplace. It's enough to make anyone's mouth water. Tyrone's life in the wilderness has finally settled down. After eating his fill, he added some wood to the fireplace to keep it going. Living here, you can even enjoy stargazing at night. As sleepiness gradually sets in, Tyrone drifts off into a beautiful dream. The next morning, Tyrone started gathering yellow clay. He planned to build an outdoor lounging area. After all, you need a place to eat and sleep, and also a place to relax and have fun. He built it up layer by layer. Stone, then mud. The wilderness lifestyle means building every facility with your own hands. Testing it out, it's perfectly ergonomic. Leisurely sipping a hot tea, listening to the birds and insects in the forest. The area around the shelter still looked a bit plain. Tyrone collected some turf from the forest, but before laying it, he watered the ground first. This helps the grass roots bind better with the soil. Come next spring, the area around the shelter will be vibrant and green. Thinking about convenience on rainy days, he carefully laid a flagstone path. The shelter now presents a scene full of life. Next, Tyrone hauled 2 18-foot logs, approximately 5.5 meters, to build a bridge across the river. To prevent the logs from shifting, he dug grooves in the turf. This prevents the logs from moving later on. After finishing this task, he used a log to measure the bridge's width, then cut them to the right size. To maintain the consistent mortise and tenon style used throughout the build, he didn't use any nails this time either. Instead, he drilled 2 holes in every log. This required making plenty of wooden dowels. He then drilled holes into the log ends. This allowed the logs to lock together perfectly, ensuring they stay together until death do them part. After finishing the footbridge, he cut more logs to make a handrail. He angled the ends of the logs and drilled holes in the middle. Fitting the tenon into the mortise allowed the railing sections to assemble. Finally, he carved mortises into the top of each post. Then, placed the dowel-fitted log on top, completing the safety railing. This makes it safe to cross, even at night. To celebrate the shelter's full completion, Tyrone climbed a fruit tree. The sweet and sour taste was enough to fill him up. Not satisfied with just that, he found a bamboo pole. The flexible bamboo pole could serve as a fishing rod. He tied a fish hook he'd found outdoors to some fishing line. Finally, adding bait allowed him to start fishing. While waiting for a bite, he could enjoy a cup outside, leisurely enjoying his tea. This is the life he yearned for in the wilderness. The burnt-down fireplace provided plenty of hot coals. Tyrone placed the fish on a grill to cook. The tender fish is rich in protein, an excellent food source outdoors, paired with soft, sweet potatoes. After eating his fill and patrolling the area, confirming no life-threatening wolves or tigers were around, he finally returned to the shelter to rest. "I'm fading fast!" A playful comment on channel popularity. We won't play the left foot or right foot game today. As always, if you've stumbled upon this video, just leave a comment saying "here" or "on the right." Leave your current phone battery percentage, so I know I'm not completely irrelevant yet. Alright, enough talk. Let's get straight into today's satisfying segment. This man is named Agang, simply because he didn't understand his wife's sorrows. He was heartlessly kicked out of his hometown. Searching everywhere for a place to call home, a dirt slope caught Agang's eye. His pickaxe moved with powerful skill. The dirt piled up quickly. Judging by the shape, he plans to hide the shelter beneath the slope. Agang relentlessly attacked the slope. Considering the internal amenities, Agang carved out the eating and resting table while digging the shelter. As a master of jungle survival, every spot must be carved with precision, guaranteed to satisfy even the most obsessive-compulsive viewer. Once he finished, the large interior space meant hauling dirt back and forth was exhausting, so Agang needed to build a labor-saving transport system. He first drove a row of stakes into both sides, then fixed a log on each side. He installed a sliding mechanism on the frame top. This frame could easily handle 180-pound Agang. With the help of this tool, Agang's subsequent work became much easier. No wonder they say learn math and science and you can go anywhere without fear. Soon, Agang finished moving the dirt. Thinking about sleeping arrangements, Agang started digging inward.
extending bit by bit until he carved out a flat earthen platform. Agang also carved niches into the walls to hold lighting, e.g. candles. Considering the cold forest nights, a continuously heating fireplace is essential. He dug the chimney flue from the top down until the firebox and exhaust were fully connected. After testing the draft was good, Agang dug a hole below the fireplace, creating a multifunctional stove opening. Then, considering the high humidity inside, Agang carved a channel into the wall, connecting it all the way to the bed platform. This allows heat from the fireplace to transfer throughout the entire bed body. This not only solves the dampness issue, but also provides better warmth while sleeping. After Agang meticulously measured for a week, he started cutting bamboo poles to length, then precisely cut notches into them,
assembling each section. He fitted all pipes into the pre-dug trenches, then plugged a vent in the middle of the pipe with a wooden stopper. This prevents soil from clogging the pipe during backfilling. This guy Agang is really something else. To think of a heating solution like this. After all pipes were sealed, Agang quickly started a fire test. The heat from the fireplace began transferring through the pipes. The holes in the bed platform distributed to every part of the bed, making it like a Chinese kang, heated bed. Next, Agang used split bamboo strips to weave a comfortable mat. Using a simple over-under weaving technique, he created a sleeping mat and laid it on the earthen platform. It fit perfectly. Next, Agang took a handsaw into the nearby forest, selecting a fairly thick, dead tree. He cut it to a suitable length, making it easier to carry back to camp. It worked perfectly as a stool. Considering the ground was too loose, Agang drove a log between the stakes, using it to tamp down the loose earth. This makes the living area much firmer. After tamping down the entire shelter floor, Agang gathered plenty of cut firewood, stockpiling it for the fireplace. After a busy day, Agang was starving. Luckily, he had prepared some Russian-style sausages. He scored each sausage, then heated oil in a pan. Once the oil temperature reached about 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 degrees Celsius, he could add the sausages. Just flip them about 730 times, humorous exaggeration, until golden brown on both sides, then remove. Drizzle with some ketchup and enjoy these delicious Russian sausages. Although the meal was simple, Agang felt very satisfied. After eating, he poured himself a cup of tea. Living in a shelter built with his own hands, enjoying the purest form of wild camping. After eating, he unrolled his sleeping bag. Drowsiness gradually set in. Agang lay down and fell into a beautiful sleep. Waking up the next morning, Agang decided to expand another section next door. After all, you need a place to eat and sleep. And you also need a private pool for hygiene. He drew an arched outline on the wall, then continued digging inward. The arched shape is very ergonomic, preventing cave-ins while living inside. To make hauling dirt out easier, he added a curved section to the rail track, making it easier to transport dirt from the new area. With a suitably sized space, he hollowed out the interior, creating a water storage area, pool. To make the pool less plain, he carved patterns into the walls. Next, he dug an opening in the wall to solve the pool's drainage. Then he cut a bamboo pole, thinning it from the inside. Another pole needed thinning from the outside, allowing the two to fit together tightly. This became the pool's drain and inlet pipes. The pool currently lacks the sticky concrete. This locks the stones in place. This not only looks much nicer, but also makes it waterproof. Speaking of water, you need a well. So Agang transformed into a gopher, digging continuously downward. Considering safety, Agang had to tie a safety rope to himself. This makes digging much safer. After about 30 minutes of digging, water started seeping through the ground. He measured the depth, a full 1.5 feet, exaggerated for effect. 500 mi is 500 meters, but context suggests a shallower well. Worried about accidentally falling into the well, he cut a wooden plank into a circular shape. For easy removal, he added a handle. Not just that, he also needed to make a hand pump. He cut along the marked lines on a log, splitting it in two. Then used a chisel to hollow out the inside. The top needed a hole for the pipe. Finally, he put the two halves together, creating a simple suction pump. The pump piston was crucial. He took a log and continuously sanded its exterior, then created grooves on both sides. The end also needed an air vent hole. To make the pump more powerful, he sacrificed his own well-worn sneakers, cutting a piston seal from the material. Finally, he added a rubber ring to the groove, completing the pump's piston assembly. For this, he also added pine resin glue to a bamboo tube, placing it in the fire to melt. He coated the piston surface with pine resin glue, making the wooden seal extremely effective. This utilizes the siphon principle to draw water up. The finished well cover was placed on top, preventing accidental falls into the well. Meticulously, he covered the surface with soil, pounding it firm with a wooden mallet. To ensure the pump and well cover connected tightly, he applied a layer of raw glue to the contact surfaces. Only then could he ensure a perfect seal. The process just required pumping the handle to successfully draw water into the pool. Agang's days of hard work had finally paid off. To solve the pool's drainage, he needed to dig a channel from the drain outlet until it reached outside. Then he carried over a bamboo pole, coating the inside with glue for a seal. The connections were treated the same way until the water drained into the woods outside. Finally, he buried the pipe, restoring the shelter's clean appearance. Thinking about future food sources, he planned to grow some fruits and vegetables indoors. After all, if you want something done right, do it yourself. He drilled holes in the middle of bamboo sections for later sowing seeds. Though the task seemed simple, it required great patience, and the processed bamboo tubes needed to be placed on a frame, charred over a high fire, until the internal moisture was completely dried out. This creates a natural environment for seedlings. Later, he brushed off the surface soil. He filled the charred bamboo tubes with the sawdust, which can substitute for soil in growing seedlings. Agang moved these tubes indoors, inserting them into the pre-made holes. Agang prepared seeds for fruits and vegetables, placing them into the holes in the bamboo tubes. Waiting for the seedlings to grow strong, he decided to tidy up the neat walls, carving a brick pattern onto them. Though the process was tedious, Agang kept himself busy happily. After half a month passed, the previously planted seedlings had sprouted. Agang found a piece of limestone, letting it dissolve in a container. This could be used as a whitewash for the walls. But first, he needed to make a brush. He battered one end of a split bamboo strip, creating soft bristles. This could then be used to whitewash the prepared walls. Truly AK media, a likely reference to a media style, every detail is executed perfectly. Adding a dash of color each day prevents the shelter from looking too monotonous. Next, Agang brought in a batch of bamboo poles, splitting each into fine strips to make a flat bamboo panel. He fixed a horizontal bamboo strip. The final product looked like this. Agang moved them all indoors. First, he placed a bamboo pole on each side of the roof. The notched bamboo poles held the panels in place. Even though it's an earthen shelter with bamboo panels on the roof, it prevents dirt from falling inside. A roof lined with bamboo makes the interior much brighter. The previously dug chimney got its finishing touches. He drove bamboo strips into both sides of the flue, weaving the entire frame with bamboo splints, eventually forming a basket shape. Sealing the chimney naturally required concrete. Mixing it with his size 12 boot, approximately 45 ma, he spread it over the bamboo frame. This greatly reduces smoke leakage. Finally, he collected uniformly colored turf to decorate the shelter's chimney pipe, adding an artistic touch to the plain exterior. The final product looked roughly like this. For the eagerly awaited door follow-up, Agang happily finished the door frame. Then he fitted logs onto the planks, constructing the shelter's door. But the final shape required measuring with a bamboo pole, then cutting along the marked area. For easy opening, he added a handle to the surface. Considering the door's swing, he embedded a pivot base on one side. He hammered a wooden dowel into the hole, allowing the door's tenon to fit inside, achieving a swinging door. Thinking the front would be too muddy in rain, he laid a flagstone path in front, along with previously collected moss, adding a vibrant green touch to the shelter's plain exterior. It also blended seamlessly with the environment. To celebrate the new home's completion, he hunted a wild chicken from the forest, achieving the joy of self-sufficiency. While the chicken stewed, Agang invited his grandparents over. Taking this opportunity to show hearing his grandparents' constant praise, Agang felt a great sense of accomplishment. While the food simmered, Grandma helped her grandson pick fresh mushrooms. Grandpa fetched water. Grandson bathed in the pool. The explosive aroma of meat filled the air. The happy family of three was the picture of happiness. Better than watching satisfying wilderness construction, it's the perfect remedy for insomnia. We guarantee you'll drift off to sleep peacefully. We won't play the left foot or right foot game today. As always, if you've stumbled upon this video, just leave a comment saying "here," or on the right, leave your current phone battery percentage. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right into tonight's bedtime story. Jace once again set foot into these uninhabited mountains. Staying true to the spirit of wilderness construction, this time he chose this clearing as the site for his new shelter. He first drove a stick into the ground, marking out the shelter's rough outline. Then he started digging deep along the marked line. Although Jace is just over 30, in the field of wilderness construction he's been honing his craft for 28 years. Coupled with the soft soil here, he quickly finished the shelter's foundation. The nearby rushing river meant no future worries about drinking water. He went into the vast forest, selected a young, straight sapling, young hopeful, cut it down at the right spot. After bringing all the logs back to camp, he cut them to suitable lengths, then sharpened one end. After processing a large quantity of logs, he could drive them all into the ground. What you see are the shelter's foundation posts. Then, onto the posts, he built the shelter's frame using a power drill. Some parts were secured with wire. The shelter's shape was already taking form. But unfortunately, the weather turned bad. He passed the time by brewing a cup of hot milk. This is one of the simple pleasures of his reclusive life. After his break, he continued working on the shelter's frame structure. The process involved raising the frame with logs and fixing horizontal logs across. This increases the frame's stability. When tired from hard work, he just had a quick bite, then resumed the endless building process. 30-year-old Jace has one goal: to be able to live a free, solitary life in the wild, once he can no longer work as hard. Testing the final structure, it felt very solid. Adding eyes on both sides made it look quite beast-like. After the shelter frame was complete, he dug away the soil around the frame. This prevents the space from feeling cramped. After expanding the space a bit, Jace found a termite nest not far away. The soil from the nest is highly cohesive, perfect for patching the shelter's frame. He added some water to the soil.
The highly distinctive shelter shape greatly deters forest predators like wolves and tigers. With the soil coating, the cold wind can't penetrate inside. Jace was very pleased with his work. Soon, the forest branches were covered in snow. Jace collected many flat stones from the stream to be used for building an indoor fireplace for heating and cooking. Jace lit the long-awaited fireplace. Dampness inside could also be dispersed. Thick smoke filled the interior. Jace was choked out. But to solve the serious smoke issue, Jace decided to rebuild the fireplace. Following the chimney frame he built, he masonried the fireplace's flue. He used discarded tin from the forest to make a damper for the stove opening. Now the smoke drafts much better, but cracking in the mud was causing smoke leaks. To prevent this cracking issue, he added a large amount of dry grass to the mud. This increases the mixture's tensile strength. The repaired shelter won't have cracking problems. The repaired product looked roughly like this. He also collected some moss, preventing water accumulation in the rain. He found some old weathered wood in the forest. After resting a bit, he began splitting logs down the middle, processing them all into flat planks. For building the door frame, the door itself was also made from joined planks. He made 2 of these doors. The door's attachments still used traditional hinges. He also added a convenient handle, allowing the door to swing both ways. Jace added wood to the fireplace, preventing it from going out. Meanwhile, he brought 2 buckets of concrete mix for plastering the interior walls. To ensure the shelter lasts 3 generations, he reinforced everything, inside and out. He installed a piece of glass in the eye position so the wind couldn't blow through. With Jace's skilled hands, he carved an artistic piece indoors. Jace's plastering technique would definitely earn him a feast in our village. These uniformly cut wooden stakes could also serve as bed legs. He just needed to fix 2 frame pieces on top. Then Jace cut many wood chips to lay on the indoor floor. This blocks moisture and prevents muddiness on rainy days. He even filled the gaps between them, preventing dirt from accumulating later. Finally, he laid the bed planks. To prevent them from shifting, he secured them with screws, then sanded the surface smooth, and could lay down a soft sleeping mat. Testing it, it was very soft and comfortable. The interior was also very clean and tidy. After waking, Jace went to the forest stream to wash up properly. The area is beautiful, with clear water and a large waterfall, perfect for a reclusive life. Jace sharpened one end of collected logs, planning to build a reclining chair. He placed logs across it sequentially. The final product was also very practical. He used the leftover wood to make a table, away from the city's noise. This is the lifestyle Jace truly yearns. Jace returned to the shelter and lit the Peru. Likely a typo, mispronunciation for fireplace. Starting to prepare dinner, he went back inside, arranging various living amenities. He added corn and large chunks of beef to a clay pot, finally adding some salt for flavor, placing it in the coals to stew. While waiting, he drank a cup of sweet hot water. Considering that too much meat can feel heavy, he also cut some fruits and vegetables. The nutritious meat stew, paired with old bread, Jace dug in heartily. Jace's reclusive life in the mountains had finally settled down. After eating, he lit the indoor candles. As drowsiness gradually set in, he closed the shelter door tightly and lay down, falling into a beautiful sleep. Wishing all you viewers out there sweet dreams.